The lion holds the highest position in the predator hierarchy. However, the determining strength does not lie only in muscle or teeth. The key factor lies in the ability to protect the next generation. This ability allows the species to maintain its position through many generations. The savanna is an environment where young animals constantly face risk. Every movement is monitored. Predators do not attack randomly. They wait for moments when the young are slow, separated, or not fully capable of defense. This pressure exists every day across all grasslands and movement paths. The adult females hold the central role in the protective system. They remain close to the young and maintain safe distance from threats. Their reaction is fast, direct, and precise. There is no need for prolonged warning. Detection of the correct signal is enough to change the situation. The balance of the savanna is maintained by this mechanism. Predators cannot act freely. Every attempt requires risk. The possibility of injury stops many approaches before they become actual attacks. Each species develops different protective strategies. Some rely on collective formation, some choose continuous movement, some use body size as a barrier. These strategies do not form quickly. They are the result of evolutionary processes lasting millions of years. The warthog uses burrows and rapid reflexes. The buffalo forms a dense, defensive circle. The giraffe maintains distance through height and wide field of view. The elephant places the calf in the center of the herd and surrounds it with the largest individuals. Each method serves one goal, which is reducing the chance of separation. On the savanna, one rule does not change. The young are always the easiest target. From that vulnerability, the strongest defense systems develop. Ahead are 4 survival scenarios. 4 different situations. Each sequence shows how large savanna species protect the next generation in one of the most demanding environments on Earth. Among the smaller species on the savanna, the warthog stands out because it survives effectively in a high-pressure environment. Its strategy does not rely on strength or size. It depends on rapid reflexes and an efficient movement structure. The young remain close to the adult female. The distance is kept to a minimum. This formation reduces the risk of separation when danger appears. Only one delayed movement greatly reduces survival chances. At the edge of the savanna, a cheetah begins to approach. The body lowers. The movement spreads wide. The wind masks its scent. Every factor is used to close the distance without early detection. The moment the danger signal appears, the formation changes immediately. The adult turns its body sideways and positions itself between the approach direction and the young. It does not retreat. It does not scatter. All movement occurs within seconds. The cheetah accelerates. Its path is cut across. The warthog shifts laterally and forces the predator to adjust its momentum. A brief moment of hesitation occurs. Immediately afterward, the formation withdraws from the area. The movement direction changes constantly. There is no prolonged pause. The warthog strategy is not complex. It does not require superior advantage. It requires correct timing, formation control, and rapid departure. On the savanna, that is sufficient for survival. The early light spreads across the African savanna and reveals wide open grass fields. The space is exposed. The visibility is far. The risk becomes clearer than ever. Every movement can be detected. Every error carries a consequence. In the middle of the grassland, a newborn giraffe is attempting to stand. Its height is exceptional, but its legs are unstable. The bone structure allows it to stand shortly after birth, but control remains limited. One slip is enough for its physical advantage to disappear. In the distance, a lioness appears. She does not rush. The distance remains unchanged. Timing is the key factor. The target is not the large adult. The target is the one that cannot move efficiently. The adult giraffe tries to hold position between the calf and the approach direction. However, the terrain is uneven. Dry channels and tangled grass disrupt the formation. The lioness moves along the outer arc and forces the calf off the protected line. The chase is brief. It does not last long. A misstep at the edge of a dry channel causes the calf to lose balance. That moment is enough to change the outcome. The height becomes ineffective when the body is lower than the ground. Everything ends quickly. On the savanna, Dawn rises over the Serengeti plains. The stillness of the air lasts only for a moment before the rhythm of survival begins to operate. In this demanding ecosystem, the hyena holds a distinct position. It is not because of size or speed. It is because of an unusual social structure. The clan operates under a clear matriarchal system. The females hold control. The hierarchy is firmly established from the beginning. Access to food, positions within the clan, and roles in hunting are all influenced by them. This order is not flexible. Every individual must adapt in order to survive. The process of raising young lasts longer than in many other predators and can reach up to 18 months. During this entire period, the young are not fully protected. From the moment they begin accessing solid food, they must push, vocalize, and compete directly. There is no space for slow reactions. This upbringing environment creates continuous pressure. Reflexes develop early. Endurance and adaptability become mandatory. This strict social structure allows the hyena clan to maintain long-term stamina. It does not rely on a single dominant individual. It does not depend on chance. Every behavior supports the survival of the entire clan on the Serengeti plains. The migration of wildebeest stretches endlessly. Thousands of individuals move continuously and create an immense food source for predators. Hyenas follow this movement but do not rush to approach at the beginning. They observe for long periods and focus on the most vulnerable individuals. The young that have just joined the herd. The exhausted individuals, weakened by the long journey. Those that fall behind always remain within reach. When the target becomes clear, the chase begins. Hyenas do not rely on explosive speed. They maintain a steady running pace and can reach about 37 miles per hour for long enough to wear down the prey. When one individual is separated from the herd, the hyena clan immediately tightens the circle. All escape paths are blocked. Across the open grasslands, this endurance strategy allows hyenas to exploit these massive migrations efficiently. Hyenas do not rely solely on hunting. They also survive by consuming carcasses. They feed quickly on decomposing flesh and limit the spread of bacteria and pathogens across the grasslands. This role is quiet but continuous and affects the health of the entire ecosystem. In common perception, hyenas are often associated with negative imagery. However, scientific observations show that they are one of the carnivore species with high cognitive ability. They cooperate in groups, divide tasks when approaching food, and adjust tactics based on conditions. Their complex vocal system transmits detailed information and distinguishes individuals and urgency levels. This behavior gives hyenas an advantage in a highly competitive environment. They do not depend on a single food source. When hunting fails, carcasses become an alternative energy supply. This flexibility allows the population to remain stable under different environmental conditions. However, human impact is shifting this balance. Expanding farmland, roads, and settlements fragment their territory and reduce space for feeding and movement. Population decline triggers chain reactions. Carcasses remain longer. Disease risks increase. The decomposition process slows down. Hyenas hold a critical position in the savanna ecosystem. They are both predators and efficient scavengers. When this link weakens, the stability of the entire ecosystem decreases. On the African grasslands, the presence of hyenas is not secondary. It is essential for maintaining long-term ecological order. The sunlight is intense. The ground is dry. Food sources are scattered. Every movement by any species carries risk. Large predators hold an advantage in strength. However, this ecosystem does not operate only by size. In the open spaces between large herbivore herds, the honey badger appears in a very different way. It does not occupy large territory. It does not rely on numbers. It operates alone and engages with the environment through fast reflexes and high endurance. The low body and compact musculature allow quick turning in narrow spaces. The thick and loose skin reduces the impact of bites or strikes. The strong jaws are capable of causing damage at close contact. These traits do not make the honey badger the strongest species, but they provide the ability to survive in high-pressure situations. After leaving the feeding area, The honey badger moves in a direction without clear signs of danger. The terrain is open, and the scent of old food still remains. As it approaches a low grass patch, the scent of young animals spreads in the air. This signal is strong enough to trigger an approach reflex. The distance decreases quickly, even though the area is not within a safe zone. The honey badger does not stay long in one location. Its sense of smell continuously gathers new signals from the ground and the air. A different scent appears and is clear and recent. It is the trace of wild dogs. The soil has been disturbed recently. The direction of movement changes immediately. Under the thin layer of soil, there are light and uneven vibrations. The den structure becomes evident through scent and low sound. A den of young wild dogs is present. The honey badger evaluates the situation within a few seconds. The terrain is narrow. There are many approach angles. The chance of being surrounded increases significantly. Individual advantages no longer matter when facing a coordinated group predator. The escape direction is chosen immediately. The body turns fast and decisively. The distance increases before the pack fully arrives. There is no extended chase. The contact ends before direct conflict occurs. The decision to leave reflects behavioral adjustment according to conditions. In the savanna ecosystem, the dry season covers the African savanna with prolonged heat and cracked ground. Six months without rain cause ponds and lakes to shrink, grass to burn, and water sources to decrease each day. This is the most demanding period of the year when many species must leave familiar areas to survive. In these conditions, elephants cannot remain in one place. Their high water requirement makes movement the only option. The purpose is not to find new territory, but to reach the remaining water sources. A herd of about 30 elephants begins the journey. The formation includes multiple generations from long-lived adults to newborn calves, all moving in the same direction. The navigation does not rely on chance. The oldest female holds the decision-making role. After many dry seasons, her long-term memory retains the locations of underground water lines, dry riverbeds, and temporary pools. These points may lie hundreds of miles away, beyond direct visual range. The herd begins moving when the temperature is still low. Their heavy steps press deep into the hard ground. The journey lasts many days and crosses open zones where water is almost absent. Each stop is calculated to reduce exhaustion, especially for the calves. This route is not new. It has been used through many generations. Knowledge of direction, departure timing, and resting points is maintained continuously. In the savanna ecosystem, elephant migration is not only movement, it is the result of memory, experience, and accumulated survival pressure over time. The African elephant, scientific name Loxodonta africana, is the largest land animal alive today. An adult male can reach a weight of approximately 6 tons. Females are smaller, between 3 and 4 tons. This large size requires a suitable body structure to maintain long-distance travel. The trunk is the central organ. It is formed from tens of thousands of interwoven muscle units. The trunk is strong enough to lift objects weighing hundreds of pounds and flexible enough to handle small items. It is the primary tool for feeding, drinking, digging. The ear system is wide and can reach nearly 6 feet across. When the ears move, blood flows through the large surface area and releases heat effectively. This mechanism supports temperature regulation during prolonged heat. The tusks are long, strong, and weigh tens of pounds each. They are used to break dry ground, strip tree bark, open pathways, and defend. The feet are thick with high cushion pads that distribute the body weight evenly. This creates stable steps and reduces impact when moving across different terrains. Inside, the elephant brain weighs about 11 pounds, the largest among land animals. The developed nervous system supports long-term memory of locations, routes, and water sources. Communication occurs through low-frequency sounds that travel through the ground over long distances. These signals maintain herd connection, warn of danger, and guide direction during extended migrations. The elephant herd leaves the starting point before the sunlight rises high. The movement pace is steady at approximately 4 miles per hour. The steps are heavy but stable. The formation stretches without interruption and can be maintained for many consecutive days if no forced stop occurs. At the front, the oldest female continuously assesses the environment. The trunk touches the ground, the ears open wide. The body pauses briefly and then continues. Weak vibrations from deep underground are detected. The horizon is examined segment by segment. The route changes slightly after each pause, based on accumulated experience and spatial orientation ability. The energy requirement remains high. Each adult individual needs hundreds of pounds of vegetation per day. However, during the dry season, grass is almost gone. The herd must use every remaining food source, such as dry bark, exposed roots, and broken stems. Food becomes scarcer with every mile traveled. Water is the determining factor. A large individual requires hundreds of liters per day. Along this route, there are no open rivers or lakes. There is only the long distance ahead. On the 10th day, the landscape ahead begins to change. The horizon is no longer empty. Low green patches appear scattered. The trees grow taller. The moisture in the air increases. The ground becomes softer. These signals indicate that water is very close. The herd maintains its movement pace, but the direction becomes clear. The scent of water spreads through the wind. The sound of insects becomes denser. The vegetation is no longer sparse. After many days of drought, these signs carry critical importance. The presence of elephants changes the entire area. The waterholes are dug deeper when drought returns. Clear pathways through dense vegetation form. Seeds attach to their skin and fall along the route. The savanna structure is maintained through these repeated behaviors. Many smaller species depend directly on the traces elephants leave behind. However, the greatest threat does not come from natural cycles. Poaching continues in many regions. Tens of thousands of individuals are killed each year for their tusks. Traditional migration routes are cut by roads, farms, and settlements. The distance between water sources becomes greater. The migration repeats every year. Each journey becomes more demanding. Yet, as long as the individuals remember the route and the herd maintains its structure, the cycle continues. The savanna depends on elephants. Elephants depend on the savanna. This connection has lasted millions of years and continues today. The first light of day spreads across the savanna. The space is open, exposed, and full of risk. On the dry and firm ground, the buffalo herd moves forward as a solid mass. The distance between individuals is kept tight. This order determines survival. Every movement is paired with vigilance. The ears rotate constantly. The eyes sweep across the tall grass. Predators do not usually appear immediately. They wait for mistakes. For this reason, the herd does not allow gaps to appear. When the calves move into the center, the formation changes immediately. The adults form the outer layer. The horns point in multiple directions. The large bodies shield the inner ring completely. This structure is not a random reaction. It is the result of thousands of generations under predation pressure. A current of air carries an unusual scent. The movement pace slows. The lead individual pauses briefly. The entire mass shifts slightly in the same direction. In the distant bushes, a low and heavy movement is detected. There is no panic. The herd tightens further. The speed adjusts evenly. The individuals at the edge are ready to react if approached. The objective is not to retreat, but to hold formation. Buffalo survival does not rely on solitary escape. The defensive strength lies in numbers, mass, and precise coordination. When the herd maintains its structure, the risk of being brought down remains at the lowest level. The African buffalo is one of the largest hoofed animals on the continent. An adult male can reach a weight of more than 1,000 pounds. This size influences physical strength and determines how the species responds to danger. The curved horns are attached to a thick bone shield on the forehead, which forms a highly durable structure. During impact, the head absorbs the force first and reduces injury to the brain. The short neck and strongly developed muscles combine with wide shoulders and allow the body to direct its full weight into a single charge. For this reason, predators rarely approach from the front. The dark coat functions as a natural thermal regulator. In the morning, it retains warmth. When the temperature rises, the stored heat is released gradually and prevents overheating. This mechanism allows buffalo to remain active for many hours on the open savanna. The ability to detect danger comes from their senses. The sensitive hearing identifies low and distant sounds. The sense of smell reads changes in wind direction and identifies the approach of threats. Low-frequency calls travel quickly across long distances and allow the whole herd to react almost at the same time. When danger appears, the movement structure changes immediately. The adult individuals, especially the males, shift to the outer positions. Their large bodies and forward-facing horns form a continuous barrier. At the center, the calves are kept close together to minimize the chance of separation. The buffalo does not rely on rapid retreat. Although it cannot maintain high speed for long periods, it can accelerate powerfully over short distances. Each individual holds a precise position and expands the shared safety zone. Because of synchronized reaction and tight formation, the success rate of predator attacks remains very low. The primary food of the African buffalo is short grasses growing close to the ground. After the rainy season, the young grass becomes an essential energy source that helps the herd recover strength quickly. When the grass becomes old and tough, the strong jaws and wide teeth continue to function effectively and allow them to break down dry plant fibers while maintaining feeding efficiency. Buffalo rarely move randomly. On wide grasslands, they often follow the paths of antelopes or zebras. These species consume the upper grass layers first and reveal the shorter and easier to reach grass behind. This movement pattern reduces search time and limits energy loss. During prolonged drought, water becomes the determining factor. The herd must expand its range and follow old routes that once led to rivers, swamps, or seasonal waterholes. The repeated movement across many years allows grasslands to rest and regenerate and prevents overgrazing. On the backs of buffalo, oxpecker birds appear frequently. They remove parasites from the skin and produce alarm calls when detecting unusual movement nearby. This relationship persists over time and provides clear benefits for both species. Through feeding, movement, and pressure on vegetation layers, buffalo help shape plant structure. Their presence forces predators to adjust strategies and maintains a balanced ecological network on the savanna.